What kind of conversations did you have with your brother Jason about such subjects? This is a guy that's a champion, obviously playing in the NFL for as long as he did. Damn it, I don't even remember him missing a game in 13 years, for crying out loud. And by the way, I love your brother on ESPN. He's a welcome teammate. He's a really good guy. I love talking to him whenever I get the opportunity to do so. But what kind of conversations were you having with him about how you were looking or how you were feeling at that particular moment in time, and how you were feeling about ultimately continuing your playing career?
I've been so fortunate to have Jason always 2 steps ahead of me. He's 2 years older than me. We followed each other to Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. We followed each other to be under a coach Andy Reid or get drafted by Coach Reid, and I've seen how it's done the right way. Both from on the field and off the field. I think my brother is a great model of success. You know, in the city of Philadelphia just as much as he is at the link. And I love him for it. And I don't necessarily even have to have a lot of questions for him, but just have a talk about life with him. And I can get a lot out of that. I think my brother's biggest thing is, when you come into the building, do you still feel, the energy? Do you still feel the excitement? And do you still feel like you can do it at a high level week in, week out, knowing the seasons are only getting longer with them adding the 17th game and another playoff seed or another playoff team into the playoffs. So it's just hearing him talk about how the end of his career came about and how tough of a decision it was for him. I can get all the, I can get set in the right direction by just being here.
But I'll tell you this much, man. I wish he had retired, because I think the Philadelphia Eagles would even be better off if he was still there. And then we learned after he departed that was one of the reasons Jalen Hurts was struggling, because he was deferring to Jason. And so with a lot of stuff that was going on, I'm like, well, damn it, how come you didn't beg him to stay? You should have begged him to stay an additional year or two. That's where I'm going with that. But I'll tell you this too as well. When I think about your brother and your New Heights podcast, I want you to talk about how that came about, how that unfolded. You guys got, 2.5 million subscribers, for crying out loud, and deserve it, by the way. Congrats. It's more than I got.
Hey.
It's more than I got for the moment, damn it, all right? And you deserve it.
Just for the moment.
I'm coming. I'm always coming. But here's the
Always,
deal. But here's the deal. How did that come about, and how do you feel about you two doing that, and what kind of impact y'all are having, not just in football, but beyond?
Yeah, and I think that's been the goal for a lot of football players in this league, is to set yourself up, because we know this game, it isn't forever, and you got to be able to set yourself for what happens after football. And me and Jason, to be honest, we missed each other. We hadn't had those conversations every single week, and now we have 2 hours set aside every single week to talk football, catch up on things, and just be brothers. And you got that aspect of wanting to set yourself up after football. And then everybody always said before New Heights, me and Jason were on 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. He still wears flip-flops in the snow, and I like to bundle up and look fresh and have fun with the things that I wear, where Jason is just about a Neanderthal in that world. And they just never saw the similarities until you get us into the same room and hear us talk at like a lunch table or a dinner table. You don't really realize how close we are as brothers, knowing that we're only 2 years apart. And I've been following him throughout my entire life, man. So I wanted to showcase that and let people know, how strong of a bond and how much we support each other and what a true brotherhood looks like.
Well, now that you've done that, what do you two like talking about most outside of football? I'm talking about outside of football on the podcast, the kind of information or the kind of subject matter you want to disseminate to the public. What do you enjoy tackling most?
You know what? The most fun I have is talking about my childhood, my love for sports, and what really sparked me to get into the profession that I have today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think having ex-players come on, having the stars of my childhood and Jason's childhood come on and talk about what made them great, and just the stories of what they went through. I think that's the funnest part is being able to just talk to Jason about our childhood and tell the fun stories about being in the Kelce household, as well as the things that we love to do as kids and now as adults.
Are you prepared, and is Jason prepared for the fact that as y'all continue to grow and shine, because the podcast is not going away, as your audience grows, I know you're going to want to continue to do it. With that being said, you're going to have to find yourself being a bit critical of folks out there when they ain't getting the job done, when they mess up. And you, as a 3-time Super Bowl champion, him as a champion, when you think about what y'all are bringing to the table in that regard, are y'all prepared to have to deal with all of that?
And you know what? I think that's what makes guys like yourself so good is the ability to be true. And I think you've always been true to me in my career.
Yeah.
You've called me out on numerous times, and I've always accepted that. And I've always, reevaluated what I've been doing because you always keep it real and you always keep it honest. And that's why I love listening to you, big dog. But
Appreciate you.
I think that is a talent in itself. Me personally, I like to shine light on everybody and everything. I don't really like to take too many shots at people unless I've been truly disrespected. So it has been a bit of a challenge being able to call things out and be confident and try and be critical without chopping somebody down. But it's definitely something that I'm working on for sure.
I try to make sure I don't get personal and that a guy knows that when I'm being critical of you, I'm not rooting against you. I'm telling you, you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing because your ability to do that. You get that. I get that. Jason gets that. But you know as well as I do, not just in the NFL, but in professional sports, there's a lot of cats that don't get it and don't embrace it that way. How do you deal with that?
Well, what's real and what's not real. I was talking about it earlier about watching film and seeing, how the success I've had in the past is compared to the success I'm having now. And I think it's the same in the media. If somebody's saying something, what's warranting them for saying that? Why? What's the reasoning for it? You have to be confident in your abilities, but also confident to keep trying to find ways to better yourself, better your team. And you always got to separate reality from what's not real. And what's real for me is the building that I walk into, the faces that I go to work with, and then the people that I love at home. And that's what you really gotta, differentiate and be comfortable in your own skin, man. You can't get